Tongue up, eyes up. Tongue down, eyes down. Relax.
When you see this video clip coming up in a moment, this is a small 15-minute excerpt from my Tongue Mojo course where I teach people how to work with your tongue to make a difference in chronic pain and autoimmune disease. And it's one of the most powerful places that nobody is ever looking to help themselves because nobody ever says, Doc, I got to come see you today. My tongue is killing me. It's on fire. So, yeah, you're going to feel the pain somewhere else. You're not likely going to feel it in the tongue, but that's what stop chasing pain means. Treat where it hurts and then look everywhere else. Right. And when you see this video coming on up, I know it looks crazy. I know it looks ridiculous. I know it looks silly because I'm going to be having you move your tongue to the left and move your eyes to the left. So you're going to be making all these faces, moving your eyes and your tongue. And you're thinking to yourself, what in the world is this stuff actually doing, Doc? Come on. Well, I'm going to try to explain to you always why I think or I believe from what I know of why things work. You know, uh, from a Western medicine perspective, kind of weaved in also to an Eastern medicine one as well, because I love to practice both of those. So that's what I'm going to do first. Is you can start to do those things and you're going to feel better. I just want you to realize that, holy cow, I did not expect that. I really felt the difference in there. Now you're going to see a little bit of why that might be. So we're going to go over some of the anatomy, the physiology, some of the neurology of how your eyes and your mouth and your tongue and your brain and your head and your body all work together because they do. And then I want you to try these things and see if they help you. And here's what's going to happen. A couple things. One, you're going to say, Doc, that was the craziest thing in the world. I can't believe what a difference that made. Perfect. Check the win box. Keep doing it on a regular basis. And nothing's going to change. And that's okay too, because maybe it takes you a little bit more times to do it. Maybe you just didn't do enough. Like the dosage needs to be a little bit higher. Sometimes it needs to be a little bit less, honestly, because sometimes you can overpower the system. These are very powerful neurological exercises. So it's going to be different for everybody. You just have to start, okay? Or you're going to initially find that you get worse. And that is also normal because sometimes your body has to go backwards before it goes forward. In our word, it's called a healing crisis. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means you have to step back and watch out what you're doing. But if you do the stuff and it doesn't help you, that's the path of not here. What does that tell you? That means that was pretty cool, Doc. I really like that stuff, but it wasn't the answer to my problem. So what does that mean? The answer to your problem lies somewhere else. That's what that means. Right. So it's also valuable information. So either way, here's what I want you to take away. You're going to win when you start to do this. It's going to be way more difficult and challenging than you think it is. Right. So we'll go over some checklists of stuff that I want you to pay attention to when you do it. And that's a little background of what's coming your way and why I teach the things that I do. So I'm going to have another sip of coffee. Then let's move on into some of that stuff that we were talking about, why this thing might help you. Here we go. Let's talk a little bit of anatomy, physiology, and neurology. All right. Now, this is a picture of your brainstem. So don't let this explode your brain. It's pretty straightforward. All right. This is the midbrain up here, your pons, and your medulla. All right. And they have what's called cranial nerves. And you have a set on the right, you have a set on the left, you have 12 on the right, you have 12 on the left, but you actually have 24 because they all work together. So they'll crosstalk. Why are cranial nerves important? Well, one, they're right off the brain. Anything closer to the brain is more important to the brain. You should write that one down. Anything closer to the brain is more important to the brain because it's closer to the brain. These nerves are important because they help orient you to the world and they are your primal base survival mechanism nerves. That they control a lot of things. If you look over here to your right, I'm going to go over some of the ones that are really going to fire up when you do this tongue and when you do the eyes type stuff. You have to remember they're always working, hopefully. Some will work more than others. But you have your oculomotor nerve, cranial nerve number 3. That's going to come into play when you move your eyeball, right? Because your eyes have muscles that move them. And I have a whole course called Eye Mojo. There's 8 hours where I teach people about the power of the eye and a lot of YouTube videos I've recorded on the eyes. And then you have what's called the trochlear nerve, cranial nerve number 4. That is also going to move one of the eye muscles. And you have the abducens nerve, cranial nerve number 6. Abducens is kind of a take on abduct, which means move something away from center, take away. And that's one of the muscles in your eye that will help you look to your sides. So this is really going to work for you today. And then, of course, you have your vagus nerve. All right. So cranial nerve number 10, that's actually, in my mind, the most important nerve in the body for inflammation and taking you out of hypervigilant, hyperarousal, sympathetic dominant, fight or flight, hang on for dear life mode that will keep you sick if you can't get out of it. And when you use your tongue here, you're going to fire that bad boy up. When you use your eyes, you're going to crosstalk with the vagus nerve because, hey, when you turn to look at something, that's either going to put you in towards a threat response or a pleasure response based on what you're looking at, right? And then you have the hypoglossal nerve, which is cranial nerve number 12, and that's the nerve that's the motor nerve of the tongue. So whenever you're moving that sucker, you're always engaging the hypoglossal nerve. But I want you to notice here that the hypoglossal nerve, the accessory nerve, the vagus nerve, and the glossopharyngeal nerve, all 4 of those sit down here on your medulla. So they're very close to each other. Anytime that you fire one of these guys, you really crosstalk with the other ones that are sitting next to it as part of the community. Now, why is this stuff really important? Because we know that pain is in the brain. Right? I'm going to make a whole video coming up on that soon. Is that pain is an output signal. It's not an input signal. I'm going to say that again. Pain is an output signal, not an input signal. So pain comes from the brain, not the tissues. The stimulus comes in through the tissues, right, of all different types and all different types of sensory stuff coming on in. And then the brain interprets those signals, and a possible output can be pain. That means the same input could be more pain for you, no pain for me, less pain for somebody else. It's all in the interpretation, right? But your body parts and body, it's called schema, that's represented on your brain, okay? And it's what's called a homunculus man, homunculus man. And I want you to see here that to your brain, you've got these freaky different size body parts represented on your brain. Okay, so obviously your hand and your feet and your mouth and your lips aren't visibly that big, but they're that big to your brain based on sensory input. What that means is the bigger the body part on the sensory homunculus, the more your brain relies on it to help it orient itself to its world and helps tell the story about the stimuli of your world. In short, you feel more with your hands and your feet and your lips and your mouth. That's what that means, right? And if you see another representation of that, that's called a sensory homunculus, that's sensation. And then you have motor homunculus, that's movement. What I want you to see are how much the hands come into play. That's why hands, hand therapy, hand treatments are so powerful. But for this course, this video, I want you to look at the size of the tongue, the size of the lips and the mouth, and the eyes. The face is hugely represented on the brain, right? And that makes sense because of what we said before. I mean, it's close to the brain. Those are your survival mechanisms because it's really hard to survive when you can't see and you can't hear and you can't taste and you can't smell, right? Those are pretty big for your survival. So let's talk really quickly about the eye. So we're going to have you moving your eyes to the left, to the right, up and down, basic ones for this one here. And you're going to use all these different eye muscles, right? So the eyeballs are going to move. Whenever you move your eyes, you automatically prime the brain to anticipate that you're going to turn towards something or away from something because you're looking at it. So it thinks that you're going to move your head towards it or away from it. Whenever you move your eyes, you significantly fire and increase signals to the muscles in the back of your head called your suboccipital muscles. And you got quite a few of them here. You can see, and they stabilize the upper head, neck, right? Now, that's kind of a big deal, right? Because the eyes and the back of the head relate to each other. So you may notice the back of your head will get really tired and fatigued when you do these. And you may also note that the back of your head feels better when you do these, and you might have both. Now, you have most proprioceptors in the back of your head, right up underneath there in these muscles, than anywhere in the body. So, what are proprioceptors? Those are the nerve signals that give your brain input as to where you are. Big input. All right. So, let me ask you a question. Do you think it might be a good idea to make sure this area moves well, doesn't have a lot of tension, doesn't have pain, in order to help you better orient yourself in towards the world, which can help decrease tension, decrease stress, and decrease pain? Yes or yes? Yeah. So what you might notice is, Doc, back of my head finally feels better after all these years just from doing your crazy tongue and eye exercise thing. Yeah, exactly. Right. Now, when you move your eyes, it's connected to a couple of other systems. It's connected to what's called your vestibular system, which is your inner ear mechanism, which we have a video that we've talked about as well in the past on YouTube. So go check that one out. That one will melt your brain because it takes you a while to get that one down. It takes a while to understand these relationships. But I want you to realize this, that every time you move your eyes, you actually fire parts of your inner ear vestibular canal. Why? Because your brain expects that you're going to be turning your head to something, away from something, to the side, up, down, or diagonals. So these things are firing in anticipation. So what does that mean? You're going to be working your inner ear mechanism when you do what's coming up next. You're also, when you move your eyes and when you get the vestibular system going, you're going to fire what's called your cerebellum. Now, your cerebellum is called your mini brain. I don't want you to look where it sits. If I see my mouse over here, that's the front of the brain. This is the back of the brain. This is your brain stem coming down into your spinal cord. So the cerebellum sits behind, all right, the brain stem tucked up underneath it. And that actually is the main controller of the accuracy of your movement, your overall balance, and your coordination. So when you move, how well can you move? Right. So that's kind of a big deal. And yeah, this guy right here, I think, is probably the bigger driver of your behavior than all of this sort of stuff. So what that means is this, all right? Let me stop that share button here. When you do the eyes and you do the tongue, you may change uh, tightness, tension, pain, discomfort, stress, anxiety, anywhere in the body just from doing that, right? Maybe. But here's a few things you need to pay attention to. We always say more isn't better, better is better. Start off easy, start off slow. These are not going to the gym, picking up weight, doing lots of rep type things. These are called neurological exercises, which means they don't look like much, but they can fry your nervous system quick, fast, and in a hurry. If you do too much, go easy. I'm not going to tell you how many reps to do overall because it's variable. One person may be able to do 5 and be fine. One person can do 10. One person can only handle 2. The only way you're going to know is to start. I would encourage you to maybe just do one single round of these things and see how you feel. And don't add more rounds, repetitions, until you realize how you feel. Okay? Because I'm going to warn you now, these are super powerful. You should have no pain and no discomfort when you do any of these. If you do, you need to stop, try to go back to it again, see if it eases up in time. If it doesn't ease up in time and you keep having pain, that means you're not ready for these exercises. You need to do something else. What that is, I don't know. 3, don't hold your breath when you do these exercises, and you're going to want to. right? If you hold your breath when you're doing these exercises, that means you're not ready for the exercises because you can't breathe when you're doing the exercises. Notice if you're not breathing, it's going to happen more than you think, right? Number four, I think you can do this exercise in different positions. I'm showing in a standing position because I'm teaching, but you can do it seated or you can do it lying down, right? When standing, it's more challenging because you have to use all the muscles of your body to hold you up from falling. So it's a big overload to your nervous system, and your brain has to take in more information. So you might do better seated. I'll likely tell you to start when you're lying down, and you'll find it is much easier, but you go by what you like. And here's a novel idea. How about you try all three? Make sure when you see the video that you try to keep your jaw from moving as much as possible. I want the tongue to go, not the jaw to go. So really pay attention to that and pay attention to your breathing. And then last one is have variation in your speeds. And go slow at first, then you can move to go faster. It's a lot easier for your brain to do something new when you go slow as opposed to when you go fast. If you go too fast, it's not going to give you any benefit if you're not able to do it correctly. Then you'll know when you can move up and change your speed when you're going through it. Okay, does that make sense? All right. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of a peek into why this stuff is so super duper uber powerful. I hope it's helpful for you, and I thank you so much for tuning into the video as well and listening to a little bit of the backstory of why I teach the things that I do and the stuff that I'm showing you. And hopefully it's helpful for you. And please make sure you continue to watch some of our other videos and get a lot of value out of it. And you can add in the comment section below maybe some topics that you would like to see more of. We really appreciate that. All right, let's move on into it.
So here's a waggle. A waggle is where I'm going to move my tongue to the left. It doesn't mean this. I don't want my jaw to the left. It's not a jaw exercise. It's a tongue exercise. So if you need to go like this to keep your jaw steady, you go waggle left, waggle right, waggle up. That's like the over under, waggle down. Left, right. You can go left and right again. Uh, 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 uh. Then I can go up and down, up and down. I can go waggle right, waggle left, go up, go down, any combination that you want. Okay? If you want to make it a neurological powerhouse, now you're going to move your eyes with your waggle. So follow along with me. This may be easier for you if you're seated, because when you're standing, it takes a lot more neurological load for your brain to keep you standing. If you sit or lie down, these are often much easier for you. So let's try a waggle. Let's go slow. You're going to waggle your tongue to the right as you look to the right at the same time. So tongue right, eyes right. Back to the middle. Tongue left, eyes left. Don't stop breathing. Back to the middle. Go to the right again. Eyes right. Eyes left. Back to the middle. Now, if my tongue goes up, where do my eyes go? They look up. So tongue up, eyes up. Tongue down, eyes down. Tongue up, tongue down, eyes down. And back. You may get dizzy from that. So take a breather, take a relax, and we're going to try to do one full cycle of that. And then because we can have fun with anything, we're going to change it up and we're going to move our tongue one way and our eyes the opposite way. And this is where it gets fun. But let's do one round with eyes and with tongue. What's one of the benefits of this? massive brain activation. Okay. Major stabilization to the cervical spine, activation of the suboccipital muscles to give you stabilization of your head on top of your cervical spine that can help what? The vagus nerve and the blood flow in and out of the head. That's one of the main reasons that you're doing these. So let's try an easy cycle. One cycle one way, one cycle the other way with eyes and tongue going in the same direction. So you can stabilize if you want to. Tongue right, eyes right. Tongue left, eyes left. Don't stop breathing. Tongue up, eyes up. Tongue down, eyes down. Relax. Now we reverse it. Tongue left, eyes left. Tongue right, eyes right. Tongue down, eyes down. Tongue up, eyes up. Relax. Put the tongue to the roof of your mouth. Okay. Now the brain teaser. We're going to go slow. Stabilize if you need to. Let's go easy. Tongue goes right. Eyes go left. Now hold on. Let's try it first, one at a time. So move your tongue to the right. Move your eyes to the left. Eyes back. Tongue back. Okay? So you're just starting to teach your brain this kind of pattern. Let's try it again. Tongue right. Eyes left. Eyes back. Tongue back. Now, I want you to try to do tongue to the right, eyes to the left at the same time. You don't have to go fast, okay? And watch your jaw. Bring them back together at the same time and relax. Now we go tongue left, eyes right, one at a time. Tongue to the left, eyes to the right, eyes back, tongue back. Again, tongue to the left, eyes to the right, eyes, tongue. Now, try them both together. Tongue to the left, eyes to the right. And back, and again. And back, and relax. Now we go tongue down, eyes up. Tongue first. Tongue down, eyes up. Eyes down, tongue up. Tongue down, eyes up. Eyes down, tongue up. Now we do both together. Eyes up, tongue down. Back together. Again. Don't move your head. Relax. Put the tongue at the roof of your mouth. How you doing over there? If you think this is hard to do, you try walking people through it. To walk through it and do it. Holy cow. Now, what's the last one? Tongue up. Eyes where? Down. Okay. This one is surprisingly difficult. At least it is for me. It might not be for you, but this has always been a challenge for me. Okay. So where did we go first? We went tongue down, eyes up. Now we're going to go tongue up, eyes down. Eyes up, tongue in. Tongue up, eyes down, Eyes up, tongue in. So now we both together. Tongue up, eyes down. Back, tongue up, eyes down. And relax. Okay, breathe. Right? If you feel dizzy or nauseous, you need to stop. Those are powerful. Really, really super powerful. You may notice a big change, everybody, in your whole body with that one, where joints may open up a little bit more, may get more range of motion in your shoulders, your torso, when you move, because of the difference that it makes with the neurology of your eyes, your tongue, the muscles in the back of your head, your vestibular system, your inner ear, and your cerebellum. Like, when you understand neurology, you realize that when you move your eyes, you fire the cerebellum, which is the accuracy, balance, and coordination for the body, and you fire the inner ear vestibular system, the suboccipital muscles. Everything is in anticipation of where you're going to move, so the brain knows where you're going and which way is up. A lot of stuff.